Good evening, everybody. Thank you. Thank you for coming out this evening. If you could just find your seats real quick, I promise I won't take up too much of your time. So, if you're not familiar with who I am, my name is Michael Christopher Jones, aka Jizzle the Jokester. I host the podcast Controversial Conversation. Thank you. And along with my business partner Brandon Craig, we have co-founded the company Open-Minded Productions. Normally when I'm on my show, I'm all about the evidence. Like I'm very data driven, and the statistics tend to generate most of the content of the show. But that's not what I want to do here. Today I want to talk about how I feel. Because I know a lot of y'all probably feel the same way. I believe it was the great Fannie Lou Hamer who said it best. I'm sick and tired of being sick and tired. It's been what? 401 years since the first ship landed? 244 years since the Declaration was signed? 155 years since we were free? I mean, I don't know, it's just tiring and mentally exhausting. Having to deal with the day-to-day torment of racism and continuously having to fight for our civil rights. I mean, like that's interesting, right? Like when you really think about it. Let me put it like this. So Malcolm, the great Malcolm X, he was talking to the student one day, right? And he asked the student, if you're a citizen of the country, then why do you have to fight for your rights? And I'm sitting here like, whoa, duh. Like, damn. It seems so simple. And now I'm sitting here wondering, it's like, why? Why are Republicans using voter suppression with surgical precision against black voters in the state of North Carolina? Why are they shutting down over 750 polling places in black and brown communities in the state of Texas? And why in the hell did we call that a primary in Wisconsin, Georgia, and Kentucky? But look, Democrats, do not get ahead of yourselves, because I have a question for you as well. Why? Why is it that you insist, demand, and feel entitled to our votes when you have delivered nothing of substance? I know, I said I wasn't going to talk about the evidence, but when over 65,000 African Americans are missing right now in America, I have got to talk about it. When our black queens are dying at a rate 3 to 4 times higher than any other female at the hands of healthcare professionals while giving birth, I have got to talk about it. And when we have a president that would prefer to stoke the racial flames of hatred, hostility, and animosity, rather than use purposeful, resilient leadership, rhetoric, and legislation that will enact changes to ease that racial tension, I have got to talk about it. And when you can arrest the protesters of the murder of Breonna Taylor before you can arrest the people who killed Breonna Taylor, I have got to talk about it. We make up about 13% of this population, yet we make up 40% of the prison population. We make up 13% of the population. Yet we only represent 0.008% of all Fortune 500 CEOs. And there's this fabricated war on drugs that predominantly targets black and brown individuals with over-criminalizing petty marijuana offenses while allowing rich white elitists to sell weed in dispensaries under the guise of an essential business. You know, it's like, so eternal hope floats is what they said is they adjust the rope around our throat, left us for dead, created codes, burned our homes, set fire to the bed, watched us choke from all the smoke inhaled inside the head. Look, my bad, I'm sorry, y'all. You know, sometimes I get to rhyming, you know, it's like the MC in me. So I'm a product of the 80s and the 90s, right? You know, I'm an 80s baby. I'm a hip hop head, you know what I'm saying? Hip hop, right, Wu-Tang. So you see, my leaders, they're a little bit different than most. So my political consultant, he goes by the name of Killer Mike, right? And what he says is, if you are truly free, why are you fighting over who has the best master? Damn Trump, damn Biden, damn any politician that you can't take a 10-point plan to that won't condone it, co-sign it, and co-sponsor it. If they can't do that for you and your community, then damn them. You don't owe them a damn thing. You dig? So, like I said, my leaders are a little bit different, right? And my spiritual advisor, he goes by the name of Big Crit. And what he says is, I never wish to be the burden bearer, but souls need saving, and it's now or never. Shock value is all they want to see. It's us against them, and it's just you and me. Trying to take heed what I say in my songs. Sorry if I ever steered you wrong. Most people stop for signs, but I've driven through it. If it don't touch my soul, then I can't listen to it. So that's what I'm trying to do today. Reach your soul with the words that are flowing from my spirit, guided by the energy of my ancestors. Because I truly, truly believe that if we can wake up everybody, like Harold Melvin and the Blue Notes told us, then like the great Sam Cooke said, a change gonna come. Thank you. Power to the people.
Welcome to my talk show. 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 And we're on live.
Yo, welcome back, man, yo. Whew. I ain't gonna lie, it's been a pretty eventful week. It's a lot of stuff that's happened, but before we get into that, I know, my bad. Welcome to the 17th Controversial Conversation Fireside Chats. Thank you. Yeah, man, but like I said, a lot of crazy shit has been going on. Like, Kanye West is running for president, and Now Kanye West is officially not running for president. You know, it's like it's a lot. It is a lot. Roger Stone's punk ass has officially been commuted by Donald Trump's punk ass. Like, there's a lot of stuff that's going on, but it seems to be the same old, right? Yes, I know. But what I really want to talk about today is some impending doom, right? So there's something that we haven't talked about too much that's about to come up on a lot of people's minds, at least 20 to 28 million people's minds. And what we're talking about, evictions. Yeah, I know, ain't nobody really thought about them in about 3 or 4 months. And that's because there's basically been, kind of to a degree, a nationwide rent freeze. Like, nobody's really saying you don't have to pay rent. There's still landlords who have been doing a whole bunch of shady ass stuff. Like, I know y'all heard about it, right? Like I know you've seen, like, on Pornhub and X videos and stuff, like those reenactments. Yeah, apparently landlords have been soliciting sexual activities for their tenants to stay, you know, in their residence. That's beyond sick, manipulative, toxic, and just overall, just the power dynamic of that is ridiculous. Like, it might be funny to watch it on a porno, but in real life, to think about that, it's like, oh my God, like that's evil, inhumane almost. Not almost, it is. But aside from that, not everywhere in the United States is going to be completely fucked. Apparently, the great state of Michigan decided that they were going to use part of the $880 million that they had got in COVID relief. They were going to stash, you know, a little nest egg of about 50 mil for a program that would allow them to pay landlords if they decide not, that's right, if they decide not to evict their tenants, and if they decide not to charge late fees. There's a couple other stipulations that they have to reach, but for the most part, people in Michigan, fear not, you will not lose your home. But around the rest of the country, people are not so lucky. So what I believe we need to do is we need to seriously look into a few things. I wrote a couple things down. Now, I know a lot of y'all aren't going to agree with everything, a lot of this, most of it, whatever. I just believe that these are things that we could probably enact and that we need to enact. So I think we need some type of nationwide testing protocol. You know what I'm saying? Like, something across the board of how we're supposed to do it, how we're collecting the data, what type of tests we're using, this, that, and the other. Like, I feel like everything's so jumbled together and nobody really knows what we're doing. And our numbers are just, you know, like, just off. So we need to go ahead and create, not a government, a privatized, I guess, agency that can collect the data, that can do everything that they need to do, set up shops in, you know, in all states or whatnot, and then do the proper testing so we can figure out exactly where we are with this. We need to figure out a physical and digital school schedule for the children, because there's no way that you can force these children to be in school for 5 days a week. I mean, really, it's not smart at all for them to go back to school in the capacity that we're at right now. Like, there's so many sad questions that are being asked. Like, I think the worst question I saw was, so how do we socially distance whenever we're doing the active school shooting drills in the fall? Like, not even taking into account that an active shooting drill is something that no child should ever have to participate in. But the fact that you can't socially distance when doing such anyways. Like, there's a lot of things that we have to figure out right now. And especially if it's about the children, because we can't lose not one child to this negligence and to this incompetence and to this dangerousness. Like, it's not worth it, okay? And another thing, like, why isn't it that we expect the school to provide a perfect schedule at all times and to host these children for 8 hours out the day? We don't even give them lunch, but we require them to be there, whatever. But we expect this to happen, yet we can't expect our jobs to be more accommodating, more flexible, to allow us different schedules so that we can tend to our children. Maybe, you know, a daycare that might be able to open later, you know what I'm saying? Maybe we could get a different schedule within a night, day type of routine or anything like that. Like, we have to get creative. Because the situation that we're in right now is so fucked, okay? Like, we can't get out of it by doing the same things we did while we were in it. We have to make change. And speaking of change, I know I said there's like 7, 8, 10 things that I had wrote down on there. Like, we don't really need to go through all of them. It's like UBI, Medicare for all, things like that, rent moratorium, where we basically don't kick people out. Like, we have a fund specifically designed to not kick people out of their homes, okay? Hell, even if you want to use UBI as basically a rent freeze, that sucks because they don't get to use it for necessities or anything else, but you got to figure out something. And I guess when we talk about change can be good and change can be bad. I believe in 2020, any type of change would be better than what we're living and going through right now, right? So when I think about other types of change, though, I think about political change, the changing of office, the changing of seat, the changing of the House and the Senate from blue to red, red to blue, whatever you want to say. And in thinking about that, I think about what we're supposed to hold our politicians to, like the certain standards. But when I look around and I see certain politicians getting away with things that they know that they shouldn't do, and they just are able to write it off or just pay it off because they're already rich, I see that as one of the biggest potential issues that is going to be one of the biggest downfalls of America, and that's the money in politics. So if you remember, it was probably, probably about 2 months ago, 3 months, 4 months, I can't even keep up with it, y'all, I don't know. But anyways, there was a segment that we did on the 4 senators who were caught basically taking information from a briefing that they had got in January and using that information to turn around and make stock trades that ended up benefiting them very, very much so. Let's see. Senator Loefler. I know people like Loefler, who knows? But apparently it's Loefler. So she was able to rake in about 1.25 to about 3 million. Senator Inhofe from Oklahoma was able to rein in close to 400,000. And then Senator Feinstein from the great state of California with her Democratic ass was able to reel in anywhere between, they say, 1 to 6 mil based off of information that they got during a briefing. So them 3, because remember I told you there were 4, them 3 are getting off. There will be no federal investigation. I don't really know why, other than the fact that they said the justification is they didn't directly handle the transactions. Kelly Loeffler and everybody else was saying, I didn't do this. I have financial advisors who took it upon themselves to do this, blase, blase. And it's really just some bullshit. But anyways, so Senator Burr, the other one that got caught, he hasn't had his charges dropped. Apparently, he was more hands-on in the way that he was able to do it. So he's going to be charged. But Loeffler, whose husband, remember him? Remember James Spector? Yes, the chairman and the owner, basically, of the New York Stock Exchange. So when we think about this, like, she's able to get stocks after getting briefings that nobody else is able to get. She has an understanding of the stock exchange because she's married to the motherfucker who runs it. And then he just so conveniently happens to just slip Trump super PAC a cool 1 mil, and all of a sudden, shit's gone. Like, bruh, the corruption, like, it's just overwhelming at this point. It makes no sense. I was listening to Roland earlier, and Roland Martin, for the folks that don't know. Roland, right? So I was listening to Roland Martin, and they were talking about pardons and commutes. Did I say that? Commute? Yeah. So when basically Roger Stone got his punk ass commuted, like we spoke about earlier, they were speaking about the other people that Trump has been doing this with. And it's always a personal relationship. The nepotism that Trump has shown since day one by allowing Kushner to have every fucking job, from figuring out like prison reform to somehow creating peace in the Middle East. I don't get it. To being the main person on the healthcare task force. Like, Kushner ain't never showed a propensity to have any type of knowledge of anything. He just has that death stare that you're just like, dude, what's up with cuz? Like, that nigga don't seem right. You know what I'm saying? So then I'm sitting here like, why is it that out of everything that the Democrats thought that they could have got Trump on, they went for abuse of power and then basically, I guess, lying or whatever it was to Congress, or obstruction of Congress and shit like that. Y'all ain't want to get this nigga on a emoluments clause or nothing like that. Like, where you can see that he's clearly influenced by foreign dignitaries. And we finally got the Supreme Court to be like, yo, we gonna let Trump's financial records come out. Now, is that a good thing? I believe so. But as me and my pops was talking, he was alluding to a few of the circumstances that could transpire from basically the Supreme Court allowing this to happen. One of the things that could happen is that it would take so long for them to actually subpoena the records, because Trump is just going to block it with his people and some all kinds of bullshit. And basically, it'll go past the election and it won't even be a situation or an issue anyways. And that's probably what's going to happen, because the other solution really can't happen at this point. And that just would have been the Supreme Court pushing it down to a lower court, and then them not really being able to get it back to the Supreme Court until after the election. So either way, I don't really see this affecting Trump's chances. The only thing I see affecting his chances is the fact that Biden is literally whooping this nigga's ass right now, y'all. Like, literally leading this man by a whole foot, it seems. And I'm sitting here like, bruh, Biden is garbage, like just garbage, but he's winning. And well, I'm not going to endorse him, but what I will say is that we got to get Trump out. Like we have to. Like we can't allow him to influence the way that everybody on the right is doing things. So I'll bring it back to Kelly Loeffler. Part of the issue that I have with her is that she represents all that is wrong in politics today. The corruption, the big money, the nepotism, the way that you can get in and out of things just because of who you are. So she is the owner or co-owner of the WNBA team, the Atlanta Dream. And she has the audacity to talk her bullshit about Black Lives Matter, shouldn't be on the court, this, that, and the other. Well, look, fuck you, okay? Get the hell out of here. There is no need for you to be reiterating the nonsensical bullshit that Trump continues to spew just because he has a problem with it, wants to call it a terrorist organization, this, that, and the other, does not mean that you have to parrot everything. And the reason I'm phrasing it like that is because when she was tasked, she was picked by Kemp. When Johnny Isakson, got sick or whatnot, she got picked to be in that seat, and Trump wanted somebody else. Trump was mad. Get this. You want to hear irony? Trump was mad because he said that she didn't have experience as a politician. If that's not the pot calling the kettle retarded, like, I don't know, y'all. I just don't know anymore. So what does she do? Ever since she's been in office, if you can go to 538 and check out her voting record, you will see that she has voted with Trump 100% of the time. Now, that's overcompensation. She is doing this because she needs to keep favor, because everybody knows right now that the scandals are coming out. She has spent $10 million of her own money, y'all. $10 million on her campaign alone. Says she has no problem spending more. And she still ain't leading. Doug Collins' punk ass is leading. Followed by the Democrat pastor from Ebenezer Church in Atlanta. I don't know buddy's name. But regardless, it's going to be a runoff if two people end up with under 50%, but still get the majority to a degree. So if one person doesn't get over 50%, they're going to have a special runoff. And it's looking like Brother Man and Doug Collins going to get it, which is good because I don't care for Loeffler, but it's not good because it seems like Collins will pull that a win. And he was also, I think, he was on the Judiciary Committee when they were about to impeach Trump, and he was, talking his shit and stuff like that. So he was always been in Trump's favor, Trump's pocket, stuff like that. So we don't need another sycophant. So that's what I'm saying, y'all. Change. Change can be good or change can be bad. And we need to make the right kind of change. And look, before I get up out of here, I know we talked about a whole bunch of things. I ran from here to here to here to here. But look, man, this is a marathon, like Nipsey said. But in all honesty, I want y'all to remember something. Do not burn yourselves out. All right? I've had a lot of people that care about me, that truthfully care for me, have told me, like, Mike, you're burning the candle at both ends. Mike, you're doing too much. You got to take care of you, your mental. How are you feeling? And they're right. And that's how everybody should be taken care of, but that's also how everybody should be talking to themselves. Ask yourselves, how are you? And be for real. Look at the man in the mirror, the woman in the mirror, the person in the mirror, and figure out what's going on with you. And don't burn yourselves out. Don't make it feel like you have to appease and please everybody, because the only person that you have to please at the end of the day is you. Take care of you. I love you. See you next week.